Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, busy, crazy hours, so stay tuned because things are happening, things are changing, so we stay here together every single day to keep you absolutely updated. Like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, you know that we are here non-stop to keep you posted. And the big bomba has arrived over the morning, but was expected. If you're following the channel, you know that my video released at 2:30 a.m. last night was a clear message. We just wait for the here we go for Bradley Barcola. And here you have it. Bradley Barcola to Liverpool is a here we go deal agreed in principle between Liverpool and Paris Saint-Germain. Now waiting for the documents to be prepared, exchanged, checked by the lawyers, and then Bradley Barcola will have authorization to travel for medical test and contract signing at Liverpool. Not a surprise at all if you're following the channel. In some moments, there were many reports from England, from France, saying Barcola is not leaving PSG, Barcola is not for sale, Barcola 170 millions. I always tried to come here and tell you, don't forget about Barcola in Liverpool, don't forget about Barcola in Liverpool. Remember, there is not going to be 170 million euros. So it's beyond what there were the reports, because Liverpool wanted Barcola in summer 2025 and now they got him for 100 million pounds as a guaranteed fee. So this money is guaranteed for Paris Saint-Germain, and then there are few add-ons included in the deal. Sources at Paris Saint-Germain say we are happy because we are going to get 140 million euros in add-ons included, while Liverpool are very happy because they get one of the best wingers in the world. Barcola is happy because he wanted to go to Liverpool, so everyone happy, story over. Bradley Barcola to Liverpool is a here we go. What happens now with Liverpool's second winger after the bids for Minte, for Ismail Assar and all the rest? That it depends on what happens with Cody Gakpo. If Gakpo goes to Tottenham or Man City, both of them in constant contact to understand the situation, Gakpo has an agreement with Tottenham and the agents are also talking with Man City. So if Gakpo goes, Liverpool will add one more winger. Otherwise, they can stay with the current squad. So let's see what's going to happen with the Dutch winger. Important day also for Julian Alvarez, because after the private statements, after Laporta speaking, after all this sort of stuff, today official club statement from Atletico Madrid, from the board, so the most important people at the club, announcing with an official statement in paper, and this is not a tweet, this is not social media, this is not an interview, this is not a newspaper reporting the position of the club, this is in paper, news on the website of Atletico Madrid with the club statement. Julian Alvarez will not be sold to Barcelona. So what I told you for weeks now, that Atletico were not opening doors to Barcelona, is now guaranteed, pen to paper, because Atletico Madrid never had an intention to sell the player to Barcelona, and now you have the official statement. So from today, Julian Alvarez has three ways. The first way is to continue at Atletico Madrid. The second way is to continue at Atletico Madrid, but keep thinking about Barcelona, maybe in January, maybe next summer, I don't know, we don't know, and no one knows. The third way is Arsenal Football Club, because Arsenal remain there. Arsenal remain keen. Arsenal are working on the Julian Alvarez deal, and I maintain my position. Arsenal are ready to pay. If tomorrow morning, tonight, tomorrow, whenever it is, Julian Alvarez camp call Arsenal and say, okay, we are ready, Arsenal will pay what it takes to get the deal done with Atletico Madrid. That's the feeling at the club. Arsenal feel they can reach an agreement with Atletico Madrid. They don't see any issues, any problem on the club to club. Of course, the transfer fee would be expensive and Arsenal will still need to negotiate, to discuss, so it's not a deal closed in 5 seconds between the clubs, but there is a feeling at Arsenal that they can reach an agreement with Atletico Madrid. This depends on Julian. So let's see what Julian is going to decide. Then, more news just on Barcelona as we speak about Julian. Álvaro Cortés is leaving the club after Héctor Fort to Real Sociedad. Álvaro Cortés is going to Royal Antwerp in Belgium, permanent deal with a buyback clause and sell-on clause, so Barcelona maintain the control, and Barça are preparing to add one more defender, a young defender, to their squad. So this is the idea for the final days of the window. Then, talking about young defenders, one is joining Real Madrid, a 21-year-old from Ghana, playing for Granada, and is Oscar Nasei. He already completed his medical and signed his contract at Real Madrid, will cost slightly more than 2 million euros. And so Oscar Nasei, Ghanaian centre-back to Real Madrid from Granada. He will start his career at Castilla, the second team of Real Madrid, and then with a view to potential involvement with the first team. Talking about opportunities and strikers, let's take a few minutes to clarify some situations. Ipswich Town, agreement in principle with Aston Villa for Tammy Abraham. The idea at Ipswich Town is to do a straight loan and to give the number 9 shirt to Tammy Abraham. The message is like, come here, play, be an important player, a star. Now it's on Tammy to decide. For Aston Villa, the deal is okay. Aston Villa are ready to let the player go on loan. It's Tammy Abraham who has to decide whether he wants to go to Ipswich or not. Can be any second, any moment, here we go. Then Joshua Zirkzee. Stay tuned on Joshua Zirkzee, because Fiorentina have arrived and contacted Manchester United today. 5 million euros loan fee, buy option clause, pushing also with the players' camp. A meeting took place overnight between the agents of Joshua Zirkzee and Fiorentina. Juventus are also interested in Zirkzee, but only if Jonathan David is leaving the club before the end of the window. So there is movement around Zirkzee. There is definitely movement around Zirkzee. Why Fiorentina go for Zirkzee? Because Moise Kean, the center striker, is going to join Como. And this is why Fiorentina want Joshua Zirkzee. Now depends also on Manchester United. Man United have to decide, the player has to decide. Obviously, if Joshua Zirkzee goes, Man United could consider to add one more striker to their squad before the end of the window. So that's a serious, concrete possibility if Joshua Zirkzee ends up being sold to Fiorentina or eventually Juventus. Then Robinho Vaz, agreement between Hull City and Roma for this young striker, worth 2 million euros for a loan, 30 million euros for a buy option clause, waiting for the player to decide and say yes or no. And then, guys, we have the situation of Rafael Leao, a big situation to follow. Because the story regarding Rafael Leao is that Galatasaray have an agreement with AC Milan, verbal agreement, 45 million euros plus add-ons. This is the agreement Milan-Galatasaray. Then there is also, according to my information, Jorge Mendes, the agent, pushing for Aston Villa to try enter the deal for Rafael Leao. So we have to see if Rafael Leao decides to accept Galatasaray and go to Gala and complete his move, or if Aston Villa can still go on this one, while they sign Nicolas Jackson from Chelsea. So, crazy, busy morning in these hours. It's complete madness, so many things are happening. So I can only remind you guys to like this video, to turn on the notification bell, to subscribe to the channel, to be part here of this YouTube madness for the final days. And then remember to look at all the updates on my accounts, because all the stories I'm telling you now in the final days can change in 5 seconds. We can have the here we go, we can have the approval, the rejection, so anything can happen in 5 seconds. Stay tuned here on the channel as always. Remember to like this video, to turn on the notification bell, to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you soon. Ciao.